Okay, today I decided, well, it started yesterday. This one I built this morning. But this one here, I decided I'd never built any combination locks because I usually just use bud switches or passwords with a piece of paper. It has a password that you drop into a hopper and it'll open a secret door. But I've seen these and they're very simple to do, especially this one. And I figured I'd go ahead and do it because I hadn't, had no real need for them because tend to use the advanced stuff that's kind of hidden so you can't even see any buttons or anything like that. But I went ahead and did it because I wanted to explain if anybody didn't know how they work. It's pretty easy because this one here is just an AND gate. Normally, if you use an AND gate, it would just have an A and B, but using a combination, I put an ABC on it. And when you add more than two, you've got to make sure that the redstone, as far as I've ever seen, redstone has to be out in front. Because if it's in the middle, in between them, when you trip one password, it'll actually trip both of them. Or one number, it'll do both. So if you do it out here, your redstone's going to stay on with until you put all three or all the correct ones on. And AND gates are expandable without a problem. Usually, I don't think you'd want to do anything more than 15 because with the limit of how far you can do redstone without any repeaters. But that one, it's very simple. I mean, anybody can do an AND gate. I mean, and then they're very useful because I use these things all the time for different, depending on what it is. But then you do your three numbers and it'll open. Well, technically there should be that there, and you're done. That one, and then all you have to do is figure out the ways you want to route your numbers over to it. This one here looks like a big mess. I could have, I'm sure, made it a little less compact or a little less complicated, but I wanted to keep it as straightforward as I could. Just buttons running to on our bunch of NOR latches, basically, or memory cells. Might have heard of them that way too. But this one here, and they're all, what's great about them is they hold it until you reset it. They will basically hold what they need, or hold whatever signal you put into them until you reset it. Oh, that's not cool. See, now that I'm doing the video, it's not going to work. There it goes. But yeah, this one here is, NOR latches are very, very, very useful. And basically it's NOR latches fed into an expanded AND gate. Because I have them all here. that's basically what does this one. And these things are incredibly easy. I mean, you can do them super compact. I'll just do a compact one. You have your line going in, and it'll hold that signal until you decide to reset it. Oh, switch. I don't know why I even did that. Okay. And then you reset it, and then you can put in your password again. And then once all your passwords are in, door will open because it'll send a feed. Well, once all of them are in, you'll get a feed off of this one and whatever other ones you have. But they're extremely easy to do, and they're very useful because when there are repeaters, I can do it now with just the imitation repeaters we have. This compact one's a pain in the butt to reset. But these are in a pinch, these things come in handy. It's just the fact that you have to use so many of them to take up to do one repeater. I think I done hooked it up wrong. It doesn't surprise me. Yep, I did. Sorry. Yep, we have that one going in. Yeah, what am I thinking? But yeah, basically that's all it is being able to reset it back to the way it was. And when we are able to use the repeaters, basically you can hold the door open for a few, a second all the way up to, however long you want, just by putting in the repeaters. Because I use this on doors that I need to be able to go through two at one time. Don't want to hit two switches. Because that's what I used. I was gonna, I did a video on this, but I didn't really explain it. But this is basically using the same concept. It's just got a NOR latch in it so that it stays with the delays. It stays open or stays closed long enough to get across. The NOR latches are extremely helpful on tons of builds. I mean, when there's pistons, you can do the same thing with using a piston and sand and repeaters. It does the same thing. Or, putting the repeaters, using a repeater and piston and putting it on so that the piston does a quick enough pulse that it lifts the block and leaves it. You can do those too, but I've always found that if I've got the space, I do NOR latches because, as you can see, they can be very compact, and I don't have to worry about using tons of resources to make a NOR latch because there's nothing to it, and it's very simple, very effective. But anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed the video. I wanted to be able to go through and explain what all happens and uses for the NOR latches and AND gates when doing these things. It makes it very easy to just lay them out. Just to make them, to come up with your own, I guess. Because when you know how to use a NOR latch, they're very useful and they have tons of uses. But this is the one that I pretty much thought had the biggest use as far as anything I haven't done. I'm sure I'll find other, because yesterday I was like, well, I haven't built one of these before, so I was like, well, I want to do a video on it, and I decided to do that one, but that one was too simple, so I wanted to do something a little more complicated, so I threw in a bunch of NOR latches just to make it a little harder. But in a way, it's not really harder, it's harder. This is the hardest thing about this, was just planning out and getting all the lines to weave in and out without touching each other and stuff like that. But it's these things I've never doing one before. I think I might have watched a video at some point, probably not not anytime recently. But I know how the things work, so it's what makes it very simple to do without even having to watch any tutorials or anything. If you know how these things work, I mean, if you don't, I would suggest just starting with an AND gate. They're simple, and you really can't go wrong as long as any of your lines aren't touching. It'll work out for you, and eventually, throwing in a NOR latch, because it'll make it just a little bit better. You can. It's not it's not really better. It's just the fact that you can use a button instead of having the levers. That was another reason that I did the buttons, because I'm not a fan of levers. I just don't like them hanging off the wall, so I like being able to use buttons wherever I can, because when I wire up a house with lights, I don't use levers. I usually use a button and a NOR latch. I tend to like the buttons because they look better. So right now, all we have, with no pistons and stuff like that, the best way to go to make them stay on is just to throw a NOR latch in there, and then just make it so it has a reset. Throw another button somewhere else that resets it when you're done doing whatever, whether it's lights or a door. But anyways, I've rambled on, so I hope I at least helped you out a little bit. If you didn't know about NOR latches and using AND gates to do these kind of things, hopefully it was helpful. But if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe, because I like doing these things, and if there's things that people don't know, then I would be more than happy to help out. And I like doing the videos. Since I started doing videos for Pocket Edition, I like doing them, so I just wouldn't mind keep doing it. So just if there's something that you guys wouldn't mind seeing, just let me know. Send me a comment or something like that. Alright, have fun.